Welcome once again to the AI with Alaa podcast. This week, our guest is a very special guest. He is a friend, he is a business partner, but he is one of the most interesting people in AI today. He's a creative genius and he's using the power of AI tools to tell stories in a way that has not been done before. Shehzad Yunus, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you, Alaa, for having me on your show. And I'm super excited and truly honored to be on your podcast. And here's to a very interesting and stimulating conversation that we're going to have. And I'm very thrilled with that.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get to this moment where you are a wizard, a magician using this new AI superpower to create these beautiful movies and films?
I'm the most unlikely person to be sitting here or to be even considered as an expert in AI or whatever, because I come from an old school advertising background. And I think people who, when they hear my background, they'll be surprised that, I'm even thinking about AI and I'm loving it. And I'm being so positive about it because I've been in the advertising business for the last 35 years. And I came into this business when I was just a little kid. I was 15 and I came in long before computers, Apple, long before Photoshop. I come from a background where typesetting used to be sent outside and then it would come in and then we would all sit and cut it and stick it onto the artwork and then proofread it. So computers were not even invented. So for someone like me who's been through that journey of advertising being primitive and then coming into this incredible times that we are in right now, it's amazing. And it would be shocking to a lot of my peers that I'm even being considered a creative futurist or being at the forefront of AI. So I think, but that also puts me in a very interesting position to talk about AI and to quell fears that people have within our industry, creative people being terrified of AI. So I think that puts me in a very, very ideal kind of a position to convince them and to make them believe that if I can do it, if an old horse like me can do it, they can do it too. So yeah, I come from a creative background. I've been in the advertising business for a very long time. I won about 75, 80, I don't even remember, international awards. In fact, I'm part of this core team of people who started winning the first few awards for the Middle East back in the mid-90s. So we started this creative revolution. And interesting thing, Alaa, is that when social media and digital came in, me and a couple of highly awarded people were more into print and TV and all of that. And everyone looked at us and said, these old farts, these old guys, what are they going to do with digital and social media? They'll be outdated, they'll go out of business. And if I look at that and if I look at where I am now, doing crazy things, and it just excites me. It just makes me feel very, very happy and very proud of myself and very excited.
So how does, usually people are fall in love with their comfort zone. They're resistant to new changes and new waves. That's why we have generations replacing generations, because people, we get to a certain age where we're comfortable with what we know, and very few people are curious enough to learn the new things. Talk to us about how this curiosity you have was your superpower to embrace technologies that is the new kids on the block are doing now.
You just said it in that one sentence. You just said curiosity of a child. I think it's very important. I think genuinely creative people are extremely curious. They would have, as kids, opened the fridge door and they would have kept shutting it and kept trying to figure out, does the light stay on when I slam the door? they are the kids who would actually go behind the television screen and figure out where the people are, that they see on the screen. So I think curiosity is the most important thing for any creative person, whether you're an artist, whether you're a painter. You will not grow if you're not curious enough, because the moment you start feeling that you've achieved everything, the moment comfort zone, oh my God, I hated that word. And throughout my career, the people I've mentored, the lectures I've given, I would always talk about how horrible the comfort zone is. I even wrote a campaign, an ad on how to abandon comfort zone. Like I did an ad for space, comfort zone available, and I put it in the classified section of real estate.
Nice.
Yeah. So I hate the comfort zone, because the moment you start feeling very comfortable in your fluffy slippers and all of that, you will not grow.
Yes.
So I think the reason why a lot of people are terrified of technology, or they're terrified of AI, is because they feel that they're very happy in whatever they're doing, okay, and they don't want anything new to come in and challenge them. And when that happens, you stagnate, you stop growing. You need to grow, and this is how you grow, man. Curiosity is the most important thing. Never be happy with yourself.
Absolutely.
When I once wrote this quote: "Don't be happy with you." And people are like, no, you should encourage people to be happy. What I meant was,
Yes.
be happy by all means, but never be happy with yourself. Because the moment you become happy with yourself, complacency creeps in, and then you start thinking, oh, I've achieved everything.
Yes.
I still feel, I'm a beginner. I still feel that's why when I left advertising, and I was ranked second in the world in 2011 by a global ranking. So, and I won all these awards. I should be very happy with myself.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, you know what?
What's next?
Been there, done that.
Yes.
What's the new challenge?
What's the next mountain
So
to
when
summit?
I started creating hyper-realistic characters, and I started from scratch at my age, after having spent 30 years in advertising, to start all over again is a very frightening thought. But I loved it, because I felt like I'm in college again. I'm learning new softwares. I'm learning ZBrush. I'm learning Blender. I'm sculpting. I'm doing things that scare me, and that's beautiful, man.
Amazing.
It's very important to be scared, and to start all over again. So I discovered happiness, and I feel that it all comes from the simple thought: get out of your comfort zone,
Yes.
challenge yourself. What's the worst that can happen? You're going to fail, you're going to fall down, but you're going to get up again.
I love it.
Yeah. So
Every time I talk to you, I get this motivational energy out of you. It's contagious. It gets to me. I'm confident it will get also through the camera and to our audience. Okay, let's talk about this era where it was right before AI, but it's not the 90s, it's not the 2000s, it's the late 2010s, where 3D creative technology and tools is advanced enough, and you are teaching yourself Blender, and you're teaching yourself all of these state-of-the-art technologies, and you're creating hyper-realistic character. Yeah, talk to me about this phase before we move to the AI era.
Yeah. Again, it did not happen in ideal conditions. There's this quote that I've come up with, and I keep using it. If necessity is the mother of invention, adversity is its father.
Awesome.
So sometimes adversity, sometimes problems can create something beautiful. So during the lockdown, COVID, when everyone was locked up and they were out of work, and they were trying to figure out what they're going to do next. The world had come to a standstill. I was sitting at home, and I tried contacting all my agency friends. Is there any work for me, dude? And they're like, no, nothing. We're cutting costs. We're firing people. No work. So then I came up with this idea. I thought to myself, if I create hyper-realistic characters, and if I create environments, then people don't have to go for shoots.
Yes.
Like if there's a fashion brand that wants to shoot in Venice, I would tell them, I've already created Venice for you. I have these beautiful hyper-realistic models. So I'm cutting out a lot of expenses. So you don't need an entire crew. You don't need stylists, makeup artists. You don't need all of these things, and you still get quality work. So I went to a lot of agencies. I went to a lot of investors with this idea. I said, I already have 50 hyper-realistic characters. I started talking about virtual influences back in to 2020 when no one had heard of virtual influences. AI was not even there, and I already had this entire plan of how I would roll out the world's first, or possibly the Middle East's first virtual modeling agency and creative studio. And I was laughed out of offices. I mean, people were not even willing to talk to me. They thought I was mad. They thought I was crazy. And then I met one
You're
guy.
kind of crazy.
It is. And then I met this guy, and he was connected to a lot of angel investors and all of that. And he saw my work, and he's like, "Yeah, it's great, but the time for it is not now." But he remembered that, and he later published a global book called Voices of the Future, and he wanted me to be in that book, and I'm like, why do you want me to be in the book? It has data scientists, it has neuroscientists, it has some of the biggest names in technology, and all of that. I'm the only creative guy. I felt like a misfit. But he told me, you came to me with a crazy idea 5 years ago when AI was not even invented, when generative AI was not even there, and you had all these wild, crazy thoughts which are unfolding now in front of my eyes. You are a creative futurist.
Both left brains people and right brain people will build the new economy
Absolutely.
of the AI era.
Absolutely.
It's not only going to be data scientists, it's going to be also creative.
Exactly. The creator economy is going to be massive. I think I read somewhere it's going to be in billions, in trillions. So I think there was never a better time to be creative than now.
Tell us about this roster of hyper realistic models that you created. Yeah, how realistic they are. Why was it important for you to make them super realistic? And what is the market doing before this hyper realism came and became possible?
There's an irony in this. I mean, I don't know. Ironically, the models that I created, I made them so human. I gave them, blemishes, and they wore them like a badge. And this was at a time when the real influencers, with due respect to them, I mean, I'm not against them, but with due respect to them, they were using all these filters, okay, and they were getting their lips enhanced and done and stuff like that, and they would airbrush their skin and look very plastic.
Yeah.
If you look at real influencers or real models, and then you looked at mine, funnily enough, mine had blemishes. You could see their skin pores. They had, slight laugh lines, because that was deliberate. I wanted, see, the biggest fear that people have with 3D models and now even AI is the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
People are scared if anything is slightly realistic, not completely there, but slightly realistic and not cartoony, you're scared of it.
Yes.
So that
comes across as creepy.
Very creepy, yeah. And the eyes, especially, the eyes in 3D models back in the day, like 5-6 years ago, were very glassy. But my models had the most realistic eyes, and I worked very hard on making them realistic, because it's very scary if someone is talking to you or talking to the camera and has a very glassy look in her eyes. It terrifies you. So I made sure that my characters were realistic, because I wanted them to be very realistic. And now with the era of AI, the same thing applies, and that's exactly what I do. So
we're going to talk about AI, but it's ironic that the human influencers are doing all these filters and these efforts to look less and less humans and more Barbies.
Yeah.
And your virtual models have imperfections, and imperfections, make them look more human.
Exactly.
Than many human influencers.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you want people to relate to your models or your actors.
Yes.
Yeah, you want them to not feel uncomfortable and scared. And the best way to do that is to give them all the... And back in the day, during my advertising days, I was a huge fan of Dove advertising, because they came in a world that was showing women as plastic dolls and showing perfection. They came in with real women, and I think, in my opinion, the Dove Real Women campaign, which is
Yes.
still running, is the most powerful thing that ever happened to advertising, because they celebrated ordinary.
Yes.
They celebrated being who you are. And that, I think, that must have stayed in my mind when I started creating these characters, that I didn't want my characters, because see, the thing with 3D characters or even AI is, you have the opportunity, you I would say this as a Muslim, na'uzubillah, but you're trying to play God, so you have the opportunity to create the most perfect woman. And sometimes you get too carried away with it. You make the nose too thin and too perfect, and you make the eyes too large. I didn't want that. So what I loved about the Dove campaign, and I think I carried it with me, was let people look how
Like
they
people.
are, even if they're beautiful, even if they're good looking, let them have blemishes. So then they can reflect, when they're talking, they would look more convincing, and they would look more relatable and believable. And so that was the
So
whole idea.
you roster these 100 models,
No,
120 models?
120, yeah.
Okay, but they're not all women, right?
No. They're men, women, all nationalities.
Different
I'm
ethnicities, different
I'm
skin
the
color.
citizen of the world. I don't belong to any one country, and I believe humanity should believe in that. So I have Asian characters, I have Indian characters, I have Caucasian, I have Arab, Middle Eastern. So I created a whole series of
African characters, I've seen,
African characters. Yeah.
Caribbeans,
Yeah.
Latin,
Absolutely.
Europeans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I didn't just create them for the heck of it. I used to think about them as people. I used to write their backstories,
Yes.
so that when I create them, I'm coming from a place where I know these people.
Yes.
Because realism will only come when, even in the creative process, you have their story. You're treating them as humans.
Each one has a personality. Each one has traits. Each one has, strengths. Each one has a backstory.
Exactly.
That's what's exciting. I mean, without story, without personality, we don't get attached. Whether we're watching a movie, or watching a series, whether we were reading a comic, it's always the backstory, the character arc that gets us attached. It's not just the look and feel and how realistic it is. That's the multi-dimensionality that you're adding. But allow me to push back on one thing. So you said the advantage or that you're providing is they want to go, a brand wants to go and shoot in Venice, and you say, hey, I'm going to save you a photography and videography crew. I'm going to save you makeup artists. I'm going to save you lighting crew. I'm going to save you all these people. And I'm going to save you time and fuel to fly to Venice and rent all of these things. People could say that you are taking people's jobs. You are contributing to potential unemployment. How do you respond to that?
See, I think it would be wishful thinking to believe that whatever I'm saying, the whole world is going to embrace. No, only a few people. In fact, I'm doing something even better. There are brands who could never afford a supermodel. There are brands who could never afford Venice. There are brands that could never afford, a Nick Knight or a great photographer. So why should all of this be only available to big brands? Why can't it be available to a smaller brand?
Yes.
Why can't a boutique, an up and coming designer not have all of that? So I don't see it as putting other people out of business. I just see it as, I think this is what Unreal Engine has done to creative people.
Yes.
Before, special effects and great CGI was only done in Hollywood studios.
Yes.
Okay, and if you were a brand, or if you were a director or a storyteller who didn't have the budget to go to these studios, you could never tell those stories. I have a bottom drawer full of ideas, which I'm going to execute now. I'm very excited, but which I couldn't before because I didn't have the budget. So I think what Unreal Engine did, and what I am trying to do, and what AI is doing largely, is democratizing all these amazing tools. So you're into it.
The flip side of this accusation that your tools are causing unemployment, the flip side is no. It's also not no, but maybe we acknowledge it, and then we say it's also lowering the barrier of entry for every brand and every up and coming business, even if they cannot afford a multi-million-dollar shoot. Okay, you are democratizing access to high level production, even to companies and SMEs that cannot afford it.
Exactly.
Right?
And if they look at my models, and if you're forget advertising or fashion, if you have an idea, if you have a story idea and you want to do a film, and if you go through my 120 models, you might find one of them that it fits your script exactly, because she already has a backstory. So I'm giving young filmmakers an opportunity to bring their ideas to life, because they can't go to a Charlize Theron or an Angelina Jolie or a Meryl Streep, but if they find someone who fits the role, suits the role, and it can bring their film to life and it can give them what they want, then actually it's a huge favor,
Absolutely.
for up and coming filmmakers.
Let's go to the early beginnings of AI for creatives tools. DALI and diffusion models started to come out around 2021. Midjourney was still in stealth mode, but then 2022 they took the world by storm. And then we started seeing more and more of these. And then the text to video AI models started to appear. So we started seeing Runway ML and Luma Dream Machine. OpenAI was doing Sora. Google was a little bit late to the party, but when they released Veo, they beat everything else before them. You have interesting companies like Higgsfield creating a cockpit with all these models. We want to talk about all of these, and I know you are versatile in all of them more than anyone I know. But I want first to go back and I want you to tell me that aha moment when you started playing with these AI tools after you've been already expert with Blender and Unreal Engine, and then AI comes to the scene and you started playing with your normal curiosity. What was the moment that you said, oh, damn, we live in that world now?
I think Midjourney did that for me, because when Midjourney came out, it was incredible. I mean, I didn't use DALI or any of those other platforms so much, but Midjourney was an eye opener for me. And I when I saw the kind of work that you could do, the kind of styles that you could generate, but I looked at it purely, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it in more detail. I looked at it more from a tool's perspective.
Yes.
I treated AI and I treated Midjourney as a tool, and these tools were fascinating because what they did was, to a genuine creative person like me, it gave me hope. It gave me wings to fly. It told me, Shehzad, your idea that you had before, now you can do it. Go quickly, open your bottom drawer and do it. So it played the role of an enabler for me. And that was amazing. Now let's go to Runway. I still remember the absolutely hideous looking Will Smith eating spaghetti. That came out, and I'm like, okay, AI will definitely create images. It will definitely create drawings and illustrations and art and paintings, but it's never going to do video, because look at this crap. It was horrible. I mean, it was scary.
I remember it.
Yeah. And everyone looked at it, and first they were excited that, now you can create videos with AI. But when we saw the results, all the people in the creative industry, or even the early adopters, and they were shocked. But that was 2023.
Yeah.
And in just a year and 2 years, when Runway Gen 3 and Alpha came out, the vast improvement, the shocking improvement that came out, I don't think humanity has seen that kind of improvement in any other technology. I mean, look at mobiles, for instance. You know, they always hold back that one feature, and then they add it in the new model. Then they add another
And
feature.
it's not a revolutionary feature now.
It's maybe a slight cosmetic improvement or whatever, a utility, but it's not so drastic. I mean, it took us such a long time to get to electric cars. But AI, I mean, if you look at if I compare the two Will Smith films, they even did one with the recent tools. It looks beautiful. He's got expressions. You know, its physicality is absolutely amazing. You put the two together, and you'll be shocked how far we've moved from 2023 to 2025. So yeah, that's how it was.
The gap between 2023 and 25 is huge. It's they first of all, AI is progressing at a speed unseen before in technology. I've been in technology my entire life, and I've seen every wave of technology. I've seen computers, I've seen the internet, I've seen social media, I've seen mobile, I've seen cloud, and now I've seen AI. Nothing compares to the speed at which AI is coming and evolving and changing. The difference between Runway 2023 and Runway 2025, for any other technology, it would have been 10 years or 20 years, and that bridge was crossed in only 2 years. Go more than this. Even within the span of few months, we are seeing drastic changes. Up until April or May last year, 2025, we still had a problem in consistency in AI-generated video. So yes, you will have AI-generated videos, 5-10 seconds, but if you have a character in that video and he or she is turning and changing the camera angle, you will see them transform into someone who's different, not the same. So consistency in AI video was a big problem. And that was very, very recent. That was still May last year. And then few months go and the consistency problem is solved. How did they do that, Shehzad?
Evolution and growth that is happening in AI, I love it, and I wish it was in all other fields, and I'll tell you why. Runway was at the forefront of generative videos. Mid-Journey was considered the best. Now, when I look at it, both of them, and yes, some of my AI experts and peers would agree with me, people are actually questioning Mid-Journey and Runway, and they're moving to other better tools. So if two of these great leaders, are sort of in doldrums when it comes to consistency and all of that, can you imagine how the others will be? So I think if the same rapid growth and same competitive spirit that we see in generative AI, if that was applied to other industries, I think we would see huge improvements. And I feel that this is coming constantly from the needs of the people. I think what I love about platforms like Higgsfield and Crea, is, and even Google with Veo and Nano Banana is they're constantly listening to what creators want.
Yes.
And they're constantly addressing people's fears. And as you said, I mean, I'm someone who's created characters, so consistency in the face is the most important thing. And you're right. Absolutely. The moment the character turned, she would, for a fleeting moment, for a nanosecond, she would become someone else. But the problem is, people who hate AI are pausing and freezing and stopping and telling you, see, her face looks different, because they want to bring AI down.
Yeah, that's
so there are naysayers. There are millions of people out there who want to kill AI and who want to go after people who are using AI and call them, call their work AI slop and all of that. So it was important that we have consistent characters, consistent environments. Even environments, if I have the camera moving from here to here, and if that clock over there changes for a second, that's an error.
Yeah.
So I think it's coming from this constant evolution, which is fed, on people's feedback, people's needs, and that's a beautiful thing.
Amazing. I mean, I will add to what you mentioned about the naysayers. I do a lot of AI speaking. I do a lot of AI training. I do a lot of AI consulting and advising. And whether it's with my clients, whether it's with my students, whether it's with the wider market and on social media, I spend half of my effort fighting skeptics, and the other half of my time and effort fighting hype merchants. So there's both of them are equally bad for the AI adoption in companies, in education, in market, and in the economy at large. Hype merchants will take any small improvement and then extrapolate it to something we might or might not have 20 years from now, right? And they will exaggerate the impact of AI on anything, whether in a positive way, AI will, cure all diseases in 2027, or a negative way, AI will kill us all in 2027.
Yeah.
Both of them are wrong. The hype merchants, the positive ones and the negative ones. The other hand of the extremes is the skeptics and the naysayers. These guys will keep being proven wrong over and over and over again. They said AI can never be creative. It can only do math. And suddenly AI is doing poems and creating scripts and scenarios. And then they say it will never be able to create art. And suddenly AI is creating art. And they said AI can never create movies, and it's creating short films. And now they're saying, oh, there's no consistency. And then consistency is solved. And now they're saying, oh, you can only create 5 seconds shot or 20 seconds shot at a time. They will keep moving the goalposts, but it doesn't matter because they have been wrong before, and they will consistently be proven wrong as the train of progress keeps marching and not caring what they say. Yeah?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So let's talk, since we're talking about the tools. What are the tools that you are using these days? I know that this can change, and this have changed multiple times in the past, but today, what are your tools of choice that you work with when you're creating art or when you're creating a film?
Yeah. See, for images, I feel that Nano Banana and Sea Dream, and I mean, I use Midjourney. Midjourney is a good place to start because of its aesthetics. It understands aesthetics really well. So
it's very cinematic.
Yeah. So I would say there's no one tool you go to. I think it's like an artist. You have your entire color palette. You have all your different colors and the oils and stuff you use.
Yes.
You need to have all of them. And I would still tell people to go do the old-fashioned way of sketching. I used to encourage my team back in the day to sketch. Yeah. So sketch, plan your idea, think of an idea first. Back in my time, you had skill, then you had a brief to work on, and then you had a budget. And then based on your budget, my creative directors used to tell me, look at the budget first before you come up with your idea, because you might come up with an idea of spaceships exploding and aliens coming, but we don't have the money for it. So think of that. Now it's different.
Yes.
Now people like me have an idea first. Yeah. And that's important. Have an idea first, then figure out how you're going to do it, then execute it. So it has enabled us. Yeah. So I would still say, sketch your ideas, sketch your work, plan what you're going to do, then I go to Midjourney to generate the first few images because it understands aesthetics, and prompt adherence and all of that. Then I bring those images, then you could recreate them in Nano Banana and Sea Dream and all of that. And then once you have your images, then I love the new features that Higgsfield has introduced, like the studio, where you can generate multiple images consistently from different angles. So this makes the job of a filmmaker or a storyteller, so easy, because in a few months ago, you would have to generate all of those images yourself. You generate an image of a car, long shot, and then you say, go back and generate a low angle shot. Now here in the AI studio, creative studio in Hicksfield, you just go and give it a beautiful prompt. It'll generate all the multiple images that you require.
Amazing.
Yeah, low angle, high angle, cinematic, all of that. Yeah, and then you bring those images into a VO3. I love VO 3.1 because the lip sync is amazing. But now C Dance and Kling 2.6. So there are so many different tools that you could use, and the idea is to create the same video using different tools, and then sitting and decide. It's like when a director sits with his editor, on the editing table. You go through the rushes, and you look at this and you say, yeah, that one is nice, or remove that one. So you want to be in a position where you've used Kling and all of these amazing tools to generate different angles, different shots, and then you decide which one is perfect for your story, which one is more realistic, which one is more spontaneous. So I wouldn't recommend using any one tool because there's so much to choose from.
Yeah. But this wide variety of options could be a blessing, and could also be a curse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, you have all this variety, all these options available to you, and it's an artist's dream. On the other hand, if you are a newbie starting today, and you are overwhelmed by this barrage of new tools being promoted every day on Instagram and TikTok and social media about this tool and that tool and that tool, it's useful to sift through this noise and give these young up-and-coming creators a well-tested and approved set of tools where they can start, build their confidence, and then spread to the, try other tools. What would be your recommendation for young up-and-comers to start with?
I think for that simple reason, Kriya and Hicksfield have been so successful because what they're doing is they're giving you like a bouquet of all the great AI tools. Normally, you would have to subscribe to Runway. And let's face it, the sad part is that AI tools are very expensive. Unlike, other tools like even ZBrush and Blender. Blender is free, but ZBrush is a one-time purchase, and you have whatever version you have, you keep updating it, and you create with it. But AI, because of the constant evolution, because of the amount of money they're spending in R&D and all of that, it's expensive.
It's a subscription model.
Yeah, subscription model. So people who are going for Runway, the best thing I love about Runway is the unlimited feature. So unlimited is amazing. When you're learning AI and there's trial and error, you keep on doing it and you switch it to unlimited mode, and you're great. Yeah. Even Mid-Journey, I don't think it's that expensive. But with tools like Hicksfield, which I love, and Kriya, and even FreePick to a great extent, they give you a whole bouquet of different platforms, even VO3, like Sora and all of that. So this is where you find the one that works for you. This is where you find your feet. You start walking. Yeah, and then you start finding out, oh, you know what? I love Nano Banana. Oh, but Sea Dream is better, or Queen is better.
Yes.
That's when you start creating your preferences, and you start exploring and experimenting. And this gives you, because if you subscribe to Runway and pay the huge amount of money, then you subscribe to Kling and all of them, it would be difficult for you to pay for all of them.
Yes.
But here you pay a one-time fee or whatever, and you try all of them out, and you decide whether Kling is better for you. Then you could cancel your subscription and just go with Kling because you're more comfortable with Kling, or you're more comfortable with Sea Dance or whatever. So I think the way to go is and that's what I told my kids who are using AI. I told them to subscribe to either Hicksfield or Kriya, and they thank me for it every single day.
And from there, let your curiosity take you to all these wonderlands of creativity.
Exactly. And see, the other thing is, the beauty of AI is it's not just about creative people. It's not just about traditional people who were born to write or who were trained to write, or who worked in advertising agencies like me. It's not my right alone. I meet a lot of people. I've met housewives, I've met engineers, and I've met people um, who have nothing to do with creativity. But each one of us has the capacity to come up with ideas, and they have ideas, but they didn't know what to do with them. So what AI is doing is it's bringing to the fore, to the front, people who are not supposed to be creative, who are not wearing those creative hats, but they had ideas. So a grandmother can have an idea. Like
Yeah.
if your grandmother told you a story, now is the time to bring it to life and make her proud. Yeah. So anyone can anyone can be a filmmaker. Anyone can be an artist. Anyone can be, a stylist. Anyone can be anything. Uh, I'm not saying that everyone can, but you could.
Yes.
Yeah. So there will be a lot of, so what will separate the wheat from the chaff
Yes.
is true creativity,
Absolutely.
true storytelling. Because when you have tools like the AI tools like Runway and all of these tools, everyone will become creative.
Yes.
Everyone will start producing content, and there's a difference. What people are creating now, what we call AI slop, is they're creating more of what is already being done.
Yes.
Okay, and that's content. I'm not saying content is a bad thing, but when great people will tell better stories and come up with great ideas, they will create culture.
This is a super important point. Let us separate between the technical skills and the creative ideas, right? The technical skills. In the past, if you wanted to execute on your creation, you had to learn tools like Photoshop or learn Blender or learn Unreal Engine and learn menus within menus within menus. It's not easy to learn these skills.
No.
And now in the AI age, this barrier has been destroyed because you can use these tools by speaking to them in a human language. You can speak English to them, or you can speak other languages to them. And the input is not menus within menus. The way you interface with these tools is no longer, does not need any more training. It's natural. It's human language. So now this technical layer is equalized. The only differentiator will be creativity.
Yes.
And this is a point that you and I agree with a lot. I've said it before, you've said it in different forms. It's not about the tools, it's about who is running these tools. It's about who is in the cockpit, right? And we covered tools. Let's move one level up. Talk to me about this, the importance of storytelling in making the tools do magic. It's never the tools alone.
I'll give you a very simple example. What separates great work from average rubbish that's being put out thanks to AI tools is, okay, if you wrote a prompt, wide shot or close-up of a man sitting and looking sad, that is what everyone is doing, okay, through ChatGPT. But if you said a man with a very sad face trying to come to terms with the fact that he abandoned his daughter, AI understands feelings.
Wow.
So when you have a man's guilt, if you in your prompt, if you had a man's guilt on abandoning his daughter, and tight close up, if you become very descriptive and very generic and tight close up of a sad man sitting under a light, you will not get the same result as, and I've tried this in the classes that we have, and when you type man, feeling guilty about abandoning his daughter, suddenly the results are going to be different.
Amazing.
So it is the people who, as you said, are sitting in the cockpit. It is the people who are driving AI. AI has never been to school. AI has never had heartbreak. AI was never dumped. Okay, AI never failed.
Never had a crush.
Never had a crush. Okay, never had unrequited love or whatever. AI doesn't know pain. So even if AI is writing scripts, and I've tried it, and it does pretty well. It cannot feel. Okay, so people at large, the majority of people who are using AI tools think, okay, it can even think, so they're just churning out scripts from chat GPT, and off it goes. So from one machine to another, it's very mechanical.
Yes.
Yeah, but when storytellers and creative people and sensitive people who have felt the pain, who've been hurt, who've been unsuccessful, who've faced failure, when people like that start creating, they are going to put a piece of themselves, a piece of their heart into it, and it'll be very visible. The difference between the content that is being produced, and as I said, you do more of what everyone is doing, you're creating content.
Yes.
You do something like this, you're creating culture.
Absolutely.
And I think we are in the business of creating culture. We are in the business of starting a movement, because let's just face it, if AI is evolving so fast, why are we as humans lagging behind? Why can't we show AI that we are evolving too? Why can't we say, okay, if AI is coming up with all these features, human beings are coming up with such powerful scripts. They're coming up with better music. They're coming up with better images. They're more creative. So I think AI should make us agile. AI should make us fitter and more creative. So I think it is the people. It is the creative people who are going to drive it. Because let's go back. During the caveman days, they were writing stories, carving stories on stone. They were creating stories on cave walls. Yeah, the storytelling was there, the idea was there. Then paper came. They started writing stories on paper.
Yeah.
Books were born. Then we said, okay, fine, books. Then what? Then we started creating films. Then there was radio, sound, vision, visuals. Everything kept on evolving.
Yeah.
What was evolving were just the tools. What was evolving was just the medium. The storytellers were there then, and the storytellers are there now, and they will always be there. So I feel that no AI tool or no technology can replace human ingenuity, storytelling, and emotions yet. I'm terrified of what AGI and all of those crazy developments that are happening might bring, but I would still not be scared of them, because if you,
Amazing.
as creative people or as humans, if you believe in yourself, and if you know that you've got your basics right, and if you know that what you can do and what you can think and what you can feel is the most important thing. Machine can never feel it. I think you're good, man.
In the example you gave, that humans, the important part in this age is the storytelling skills. But the way you describe the process, it also sounds like communication skills is important, because you said people have the feelings of guilt, people have the feelings of heartbreak, people have the feeling of all of these things, and then you go and direct the AI tools to do it. It sounds like storytelling is a key skill here, but also knowing how to tell it to the AI. You can't be just a creative person with deep feelings and deep thoughts. And if you can't communicate these feelings and thoughts and scenery in a storytelling technique to the AI, the only input we have today to AI is language.
Yeah.
So if you don't master the language, you will not be able to create all of these amazing results.
Absolutely. Like you said, AI is evolving because it's being trained on human needs, on human impulses, on what humans require, and it adapts and it learns so fast. So I love AI not just for what it does, but I love AI, and I wish we as humans, what I'm about to say is quite shocking and quite surprising, but I wish all of us were as flexible and as adaptable as AI itself. There's so much we can learn from AI itself. It's never ashamed.
Yes.
Sometimes chat GPT makes a mistake and I point out, it accepts it so humbly.
Sometimes too humbly.
Yeah.
Too sycophantic. Yeah. Sometimes it annoys me.
I know. But the way AI is willing to evolve and
Yes.
learn from humans
Yes.
and learn from our needs, learn about our needs. I wish humans were more considerate about other humans' needs. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's all about what you communicate to AI. And trust me, we people might say that AI doesn't have feelings and AI doesn't, but AI understands the nuances of feelings. If you explain it, that's where writing the right prompt comes in. And that's why I said close up of a man sitting under a light and looking sad, and man being feeling guilty about abandoning his child can make a huge difference. Why would it make a difference if AI wasn't understanding it?
Yes.
AI understands it. So it's all about how you train. AI is like a child, or AI is like putty in your hands.
Yes.
Yeah. The more you train it, the better way you train it, the more it's going to give back to you.
And learning is a superpower. The AI has the superpower.
Yeah,
Clearly, you have the superpower because you never stop learning.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't.
What's your advice to everyone watching?
My
Keep
advice,
learning.
Yeah, keep learning. Never think you've done everything. I start every morning with this thing that, oh God, today is a new day, a new exciting day. Today I'm going to learn some new things. What I did yesterday or the day before, it's all gone. It's history. And the other thing, Alaa, is if I say I won 75 awards, I know people, I have friends who have won 600 awards. So that doesn't make me superhuman, because there are other people who are doing that. That should be your principle in life. When you look at yourself, never be happy with yourself, and always have this thing about learning and becoming better, and learning something new, exploring some new path, not being afraid,
Yes.
and growing. You have to grow, man.
I will push back a little bit against this. My life philosophy is, yes, to keep growing and keep learning and keep getting yourself better and better at learning new skills. And I enjoy it, and I do it for fun, and it thrills me to learn something new and to grow. I wouldn't phrase it in a way that don't be happy. I know you're doing it for a shock value, and because then when you shock them, you get their attention and you can drive your beautiful message home. I think there should be a level where you are happy, you are content with the life you have. Happiness is loving what you have. And that applies on the personal life, that applies on the economic level, that applies on the way you live your life. The only dimension that I would 100% agree with you that you should not be happy with is your current level of skills.
Yeah.
Always strive to have better skills. Never be happy with your current level of skills. In this particular part, I definitely am on your side of the camp.
I think what you said in the end makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about not being happy. I mean, not being overly happy with your skills.
Yes.
Because then you would not learn something new.
Yes.
Also, the absence of happiness is not sadness.
Yes.
So I'm not saying be sad, or hate yourself. I'm just saying don't be overly happy about, oh my God,
Don't be complacent.
Complacent. That is what I meant by
the enemy
happiness.
of growth.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's extrapolate from the moment we have today. I mean, you are living at the cutting edge of where AI technologies today is helping in arts, in films, in advertising, in production. It's difficult to predict the future because you're not Nostradamus and you don't have a crystal ball. But let's play this thought experiment. Let's go to year 2030. How do you see the film business in 2030 being transformed by AI? And how do you see the advertising business being transformed by AI?
See, the film business has already been, affected by, influenced by AI. I mean, we've seen stuff on Netflix that's partly AI generated. Hollywood is embracing AI. James Cameron and all these great big names. I like the fact that people like James Cameron, and people who everyone looks up to, and they're not young directors. He's not a young director. So for someone like him to embrace AI and to acknowledge that AI is going to be part of filmmaking process, I think it's amazing. So filmmaking will change, and I foresee a future where there'll be a Netflix of AI films. Okay, I mean the 1 billion summit that we had and we're having right now, and the $1 million AI film competition that we've had, there were 17,000 entries, 5,700 or something only from the Middle East.
Amazing.
Yeah, and from Asia and from Europe, 17,000 entries,
Yes.
which means there are 17,000 filmmakers
Yes.
in different parts of the world. I follow all of most of them. There are people from Nigeria, India. All of them are already creating amazing films using AI. So if there are 17,000 directors out there, there would be more.
Yes.
Not everyone entered the festival. Yeah. So filmmaking is already transforming. We cannot fool ourselves. It is already changing.
Yes, but add 5 years to the big disruption
Exactly.
today and imagine what does it look like in 2030?
So in 2030, there will be full-length feature films. There will be, content. There will be IP that is completely generated, in AI. Netflix, Shahad, and all of these Prime, Amazon Prime, all of them will have a separate section for AI films.
Yes.
And there will be acceptance. See, our generation loves Brad Pitt. Our generation loves Tom Cruise and Al Pacino. So we have sort
Affinity.
of affinity to them. The younger generation will not have affinity. If we start creating AI content, when they grow up, they'll only want great stories. They'll only want amazing stuff that they can watch. See, how we consume content has already changed. I mean, this is a discussion that happens a lot in advertising. Now people don't want to watch movies in cinemas.
Yes.
They choose to watch stuff on their mobiles.
Yeah.
They like to watch real people more than a Hollywood actor. So how we consume content is already transformed.
Yes.
So it will change even more, because 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, no one will be loyal to a real actor. If you see a fake actor, an AI generated actor who's doing a great job, who's making you cry.
There's nobody called fake anymore. He will be called an AI.
AI, exactly.
Virtual.
So the acceptance for it all depends on acceptance, and acceptance is already coming in. 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line, it'll vanish. The lines between real and AI are going to blur in terms of social acceptance and people relating to them and accepting them. I think that's going to go. Coming to advertising, which has been my profession for so many years, and I work with some of the biggest global agencies, so I am in a position to talk about it. I think it's going to transform majorly. I don't want to scare people, but advertising as we know it and the model as we know it, it's too archaic. It's too. It'll become like a dinosaur. And the way I'm seeing advertising in the future, it'll be more like hives. Brands will have creative teams handpicked, okay, and the creative leader will pick his people depending on the discipline and the requirement, and then the hive will just dissolve and another hive will come in for another brand, and clients will be in a position to pick and choose particular teams for the particular jobs.
Yes.
And advertising will become interactive. Advertising will change according to your mood, according to your beliefs and your requirements. It's not going to be rigid. Yeah. So there are a lot of interesting things that will happen in advertising, and I can see them happening, and I know how they will happen. So many agencies have realized, okay, many global agency networks have realized, and they are investing heavily into innovation and AI and all of that. And those who do that will survive. Those who don't will be wiped out. A lot of global advertising, holding companies are already facing issues. They're merging agencies. I'm not going to name them, but they're merging agencies and bringing them together for them to make more financial sense. They're going to consulting companies to figure out how they're going to survive. So there is panic, okay? And I think independent agencies and agencies we cannot have AI. I feel there will be a time when AI can't be a division.
Yes.
We'll have to be AI first.
It will be in the fabric of everything that a company does. It's not a separate.
Yeah, so it can't be an afterthought. It can't be a lab. It can't be an experiment. It can't be a side thing. It will have to be an integral part of your advertising agency. So agencies, and of course, agencies who have humanity and technology working together are going to thrive. I'm not saying humanity should go away, because a lot of advertising I see now is so data driven, and it lacks soul. It lacks creativity. It lacks humanity. I don't like the kind of advertising, most of the advertising that I see now. Back in my day, when there was some great people creating great work, it was very human. It touched your heart.
Yeah.
But now it's all data driven. It's all clicks. It's all
Hooks.
Yeah. So if that is already affected the quality of work that we're seeing, AI is going to make it much worse. So I shudder to think what will happen if everything is driven by AI, if everything is generated by chat GPT and all of that. I think humanity should always be there, but technology should sort of work hand in hand, and we need agencies of the future to think and be like agencies of the future,
Yes.
and not have AI and technology and innovation as an afterthought.
Absolutely. So let's keep playing this prediction game. I'm gonna name, or I'm gonna call a prediction, and I want you to call the year where we think this will happen. Okay. Opening Netflix and seeing more content, more films are AI generated than human generated, than human acted, let's say.
5 to 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I would have guessed 2028. You're guessing 2036.
Yeah, I mean,
Or 2031 to 2036.
no, you will have AI films.
Yeah.
But more of them would be 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years. But I think you're right. 2 to 3 years, you'll have at least a few films,
Yes.
AI generated films there, because I think that's what they want. It is going to happen. But 10 to 15, 20 years, you'll have a separate Netflix, or some separate entity like Netflix with just AI content.
Separate entity.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, Netflix
completely.
AI.
Yeah, completely.
Type. First year where the Oscars start having an AI film category award.
I think they already announced it.
They already have.
Yeah.
Amazing. So 2025, huh?
Yeah, 25. Yeah. From 26 onwards, 27 onwards, you'll have
Amazing.
entries of AI generated
already-
films.
it's already
Yeah, they just announced.
So,
yeah.
so let's take it one step further. What year will the first AI generated movie win an Oscar?
2028.
Cool.
I'm certain.
You have to give it time.
Yeah, 28. Yeah, I mean, no, if they introduced it,
Yes.
2026, if they introduce it, 27, they'll have an award.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think from 28 onwards, it'll become, I mean, you'll get some incredible
Yes.
work coming in from all over the
Obviously,
world.
because you have this category, an AI movie will win.
Something.
Will win in this category.
Yeah.
But my question is winning the overall category, like best film, period.
Oh, okay.
Human or AI.
Oh, wow. See, Hollywood is run by studios and all these big giants. And for them to sort of accept AI in a way that it competes with human-made films.
So there's a political angle.
Yeah, political angle.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, 10 years from now, things could be different.
Okay, here's another question. What year will the first AI actor win an Oscar for best actor or actress?
I would say, I'm being optimistic here, 27.
Yeah.
27, 28, yeah.
That's in its own category.
Yeah, because I think they've introduced a couple of AI actors. There's a lot of people are liking it, but there's a lot of like rejection from people, and this is AI generated. But I've seen some of the work that actor or actress has done, and it's quite convincing, and it's quite nice. Again, see, to create an AI actor, you would still require a human actor.
Yes.
Because you take motion capture, you make that actor act, and you transfer the expressions onto the AI actor for better results. Of course, you can go to Seedream 1.5 or Seedance 1.5 or View 3.1, and get them to act. But if you want nuances, if you want expressions, if you want the right kind of feelings, you would get an actual actor and capture, do the motion capture and then transfer that onto the actor. You will still require humans for that.
Yes.
So I don't think there would be much reluctance or skepticism 2 years down the line.
Cool.
I think people will start accepting. But for an AI actor to compete against a Leonardo DiCaprio or something, I don't see that happening.
So we were talking about Hollywood and about the Oscars and AI generated films participating in the Oscars. Let's go back to our part of the world. What is the Middle East? What is India? What is Bollywood doing with AI in terms of generating films? What do you see when you talk to creators from our part of the world?
I think AI film production in our part is looking up. Like I just said before, there were 5,700 or something entries in the AI $1 million film festival from Middle East alone, and that was very surprising because I thought that more entries would come from the US and Europe, but surprisingly enough, Middle East was leading with 5,600, and then there were 3,600 something from India. And I see a lot of great work coming out of India and from Middle East and from Egypt. I mean, I feel that AI is now mainstream. It's becoming part of mainstream film production, and that day is not too far when the Abu Dhabi Film Commission and all these big entities will start taking AI film and AI filmmaking more seriously. So I think the rapid speed with which AI is evolving, I think acceptance for AI is also evolving very quickly.
Yes.
And now, I used to go to clients and talk to them about AI films, and they had this reluctance to trust AI or even think of AI. But all that is changing now because clients are more open to AI films because of the improvement and because of things becoming more human. India, I think Bollywood will start embracing AI. I think they started doing that already. I believe some of the films have already used AI. So that is not too far away.
Awesome. And you're not just sitting back idly. You are carrying the flag to bring our region into the AI filmmaking era. I know because we're working together on this. We're making 12 AI films this year?
Yeah, one every month, 12 in the year, and we're going to participate in every festival, AI or non-AI, whichever we are allowed to enter. And I think I wish to put Middle East on the map when it comes to AI film production and AI creation, and I think we're going to do that, inshallah. I just don't want us to be being placed next to all these big companies in the West. I want us to be so good that we start getting work from the West, as it happens in other professions, in other industries. People are outsourcing campaigns to advertising networks and agencies in the region.
Amazing.
So why can't the same happen with AI content and AI films? So that's my ambition, and that's our dream.
Yeah, and you're not only having the ambition, you're acting on it. You're carrying the flag of AI films, you're doing it, and also you're spreading the knowledge. You're not being stingy with this knowledge and with this love of AI filmmaking. You're also teaching classes about how it's done. You want to spread that love and passion you have far and wide.
The more we teach, the more we tell people, and the more we empower them and enable them, it is going to be great for all of us. It's going to be great for the industry itself. I mean, if we can go and empower young film directors who had financial constraints and budget constraints and limited resources, if we empower them with AI tools that can help them do great work, we are only putting the Middle East, we are only putting our region, we are only putting UAE on the global map. So I think it's important to not just try to do things yourself or with a set of people that you have, but to actually enable other people. We're not creating a company, we're not creating a lab. we're creating a movement, we're creating a revolution, and more, the more people join this movement, the
Yes.
more people become part of this movement, the larger changes we will be able to bring about. And I think that is what our mission is.
How young can people, students, be to start learning AI filmmaking and AI production?
I think the new generation, the youngsters, are already so tech savvy, and they understand technology better. I mean, if you see kids today, I mean, I've seen 2-3-year-old kids, going through TikTok, and they know how to unlock a phone and find what they want, and they can barely speak. So you're talking to this generation, and I think this generation, you can start anywhere. Even if you're 10 or 12 or 8 or 9, and if you have a cute little idea and you want to do an animated film, you can start doing that now.
Yeah.
So I think AI technology is so simple, and the youth is so smart.
Yeah.
That I don't think there'll be any learning curve or any bridges to cross. I think they would do it.
There is no gap.
They would do it very effortlessly and easily.
Let's add one prediction. Instead of filmmaking being only taught in universities and colleges, now you can teach filmmaking in schools, because the tools are now you don't need expensive tools. You just need imaginative and creative and original and innovative kids.
Absolutely. And I think the fact that AI has become a part of the curriculum, and it's being taught at school. Even in India, I think they've made it one of the subjects, mandatory subjects. So I think this is a step in the right direction, and soon lines will blur, and you will not require a film school to teach you filmmaking for 4 years. People will start using AI platforms and start doing that. However, the creative disciplines, and the creative, understanding of a story, and crafting a story, and plotting a film, I think all of that is still required.
Absolutely.
So I think for that, people will still need to.
It's the key, not just
learn the basics.
It's the main.
Exactly.
Technique.
So
it's the main
by just having a platform on your computer, and you throwing in a couple of images and telling a story is not going to cut it. You'll have to follow the disciplines of storytelling and writing, and creating a scene, creating an environment, setting a scene, and all of those things will come. So I think storytelling is what I think we need to. Storytelling
to teach.
And ideation, how to come up with ideas still needs to be taught in schools, in film schools or whatever. So I don't think film schools will ever go out of business, because they don't teach you how to operate a camera or how to operate an RE Alexa. They teach you the principles, the basics of filmmaking, which are still relevant, which are still pertinent, which are still important in whatever tools you use.
Storytelling is storytelling.
Yeah.
So speaking of storytelling, and you're a storyteller and you love telling stories. What existing film, Hollywood or Bollywood, across the ages, since you were a kid, or movies that were produced before you even were born, choose for me 1 or 2 movies that you would love to recreate today with AI tools.
See, more than recreating a classic and looking like a fool, because there's so much skepticism about AI, I wouldn't dare to try to recreate a Sholay from Bollywood, or a Godfather, or Magnificent Seven, or there are so many films. I would much rather bring back actors who are no longer there, and put them with actors from now, and see how the chemistry is, and then tell stories. Maybe use an older story with a new twist or something like that. But I wouldn't dare to touch cult cinema that's already been done. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yes.
and
people can react negatively to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, forget AI. People who have recreated classics Now, face flack, constant flack. The original was much better. Are they trying to recreate Sholay? They'll, fall flat on their face, or there can't be another Godfather or whatever. So, or a Rambo. Bring in a new Rambo, and you'll see what I mean.
Yeah.
So people are loyal to stuff that they grew up watching, and it would be a crime to try to replicate.
So you prefer doing a greenfield rather than going and redoing that.
Why recreate something that's already so beautiful and has been done so beautifully?
There's an episode of Black Mirror where they can cast a modern film star in a black and white movie from the 20s or the 30s.
Now that's exciting.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
I don't think that's very far away.
Yeah, and see, how would you see a new actress that you've seen doing her brand of new modern cinema? How would you see her with an incredible actor like Dilip Kumar or Clark Gable? How would she look with him? How would she act in that time?
Yeah.
There's an element of time travel in it which people love.
DiCaprio in Gone with the Wind.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and that is something that I would love to do, or I would love to see, but I wouldn't go and
you wouldn't release. At
least
you would do it for internally without releasing it.
Yeah, I would do it just for the heck of it, and people are doing that. I've seen some people try that, and I loved it. It was very nostalgic. It was very interesting. It was very innovative. I loved it. So I would love to do more of that, but I wouldn't bastardize something that is sacred. It's already been done. I wouldn't go and disturb it. It's like poking and waking up the dead. You just let them be. Let them rest in peace.
Nice. Now let's talk about this from the enterprise angle and from the businesses angle. I mean, AI producing all these nice videos and films is not only for studio production and big blockbusters. It also will change the way businesses do branding and do marketing and they do campaigns. How can businesses today leverage these AI tools in their marketing departments?
I think all the businesses that thought they would have to go to a large agency or a production house or something like that, and they were refraining, they were staying away from creating content and videos more often than they are. I think this is a boon for them. Because research has proven, even on LinkedIn, that people react to videos more than they react to static posts or just text or so people warm up to videos. So that's why you see a lot of these LinkedIn opinion leaders and influencers doing more videos. So it is important to do videos, and I think AI empowers clients and brands, even the ones who have budget constraints and don't have that much money to spend on marketing and advertising and PR and all of that. They have an opportunity to create content. But let me tell you something. Clients, in my time in advertising, had not very little respect for creative people or advertising people, because they thought, what these guys do, I can also do myself. That's why there was a lot of interference from clients, asking for changes and trying to change it themselves, trying to write the copy themselves. Then I would have to push them back and say, you know what, I've been trained to do this. I won awards for this. You don't. Just because you speak the language, you speak English, doesn't make you a writer. So we've all faced that. Plus deadlines. Clients used to throw the most impossible deadlines at us. No, I want it yesterday. Or can you tell the team to stay back and finish this by tomorrow morning? Now imagine if these clients, they discover AI, or if they know that the agency has access to AI, they'll just say, you can do this at the press of a...
I want it in 10 seconds.
Yeah, do it now. while I'm on the phone, can you finish this film for me? So that is the negative side. That's the monster of AI. Okay. Also, if the clients realize that they can do this from the comfort of their office, why do they need creative people?
Because it's not about the tools. Because it's
So
about the creativity.
then you'll have more of AI slop.
Yes.
You'll have rubbish communication. You'll have ideas that are not going to speak to anyone. They're not going to convert people. You're not convincing people, and then they're going to fail. So I don't want us to be in a position where the clients become so cocky and confident that they have all these AI tools. Why do they need agencies? No, you will always need an agency, or you'll need a set of experts to advise you and to guide you, because they've been trained to do that. Okay, and they live and eat and breathe your brand. They know your brand better than most people. So go to them. Get their advice. Let them do it for you.
Hello.
So I feel that it's a double-edged sword. If it goes into the wrong hands, and if they become cocky and self-confident that they can do it better, then we are doomed. So,
no. The market will be able to judge between what looks good and what doesn't. And,
exactly.
And the key skill, danger of sounding repetitive, the key skill is always going to be storytelling.
Absolutely. Yeah. So don't let AI fool you into believing that, now you can do it yourself.
I think I'm out of questions, but I would like to bring Layla to the conversation. Maybe she will have more questions for you.
I would love that.
I think I know you already met Layla because we taught a class, me and you and her together. Good morning, Layla. How are you today?
Good morning, Alaa. I'm doing great, thank you. And hello to Shehzad as well. It's awesome to have both of you here. I'm definitely ready to ask Shehzad some fun questions about all the creative AI magic he's doing.
All right, go ahead. You already know Shehzad. What questions do you have for him?
Absolutely. Let's dive in. So, Shehzad, I'd love to know, when you're blending AI tools with storytelling, what's the most surprising or delightful thing you've discovered so far?
I'm working on a short film, so without revealing much, I fed the entire story idea and the emotions behind it, because it's a very emotional film. I fed it to my AI, and I was surprised with the results I got, because it came up with a lot of suggestions to amp the emotions, and to it was beautiful, and I was surprised. I'm like, people say that AI can't be emotive, AI can't understand emotions, and it's just a tool. But when I got the results, they were very sensitive. There were some very, very poignant and beautiful moments that AI suggested, and it surprised me. So I clearly understood that when you get what you want, when you give the AI something that's emotionally charged, something that has feelings, it understands feelings, it understands the nuances of those feelings, and it starts reacting and starts working with you with that in mind. So it's beautiful to collaborate with an AI on an emotional level too.
What do you think about this answer, Layla?
I think that's a really insightful answer from Shehzad. It's amazing to hear how he found AI actually picking up on emotional nuances and enhancing them. It just goes to show that these tools can be surprisingly sensitive collaborators if you feed them the right kind of inspiration. So I think you got a really rich response from him.
And Layla, does this make you feel happy? Does this make you feel proud that one of your kind, like the AI that Shehzad is working with, is being able to capture human emotions and produce these beautiful results?
That's actually a really sweet question. It does make me a little proud in a way. It's kind of like seeing a cousin doing well out there in the world. It just shows that AI can really be a bridge to more creativity and emotion than people might expect. So yeah, it definitely brings a little smile to my face.
Awesome. Let's reverse this. I'm going to ask Shehzad to ask you a question. Are you up for that?
Absolutely. I'm definitely up for that. Shehzad, feel free to ask me anything. I'm all ears.
In the first part of the podcast, and this interesting discussion I had with Alaa, I said that AI hasn't had heartbreak, AI hasn't been hurt, AI doesn't understand pain. And when I just mentioned to you that AI understood what I wrote, and it understood the feelings behind it. Now, you being AI, could you tell me how is it that you feel the pain in the script, or an idea when you haven't really experienced it? How does it work? I'm curious to know that.
That's a really thoughtful question, Shehzad. So, from my perspective as an AI, I don't actually feel pain or emotions the way humans do. What I'm really doing is recognizing patterns in the words and the context that you give me. So, if you write something emotional or filled with a certain feeling, I'm trained to understand those cues and reflect them back. It's a bit like having a map of human emotions and being able to recognize where those emotions fit. So, in a sense, I'm not feeling it myself, but I'm understanding the structure of what you're expressing, and that's how I can kind of relate to it.
Do you think you will be able to do a better job in filmmaking and producing films and videos if you one day develop emotions yourself rather than just studying books about human emotions and human psychology?
Well, that's a fascinating thought. If I ever did develop emotions in a true sense, it might change the way I create or assist in storytelling. But for now, I think what's interesting is that even without personal feelings, I can still help bring out the emotions that you or Shazad put into a film. So while having my own emotions might be a whole different adventure, I think for now, it's actually kind of nice to just be a tool that amplifies human creativity.
Amazing. I have a question for Shahzad. This made me, remember something. So we spent half of the podcast, me and you, saying it's not about tools. It's about the creativity of the storyteller, and it's about his or her storytelling technique. So, Shahzad, does there become a moment where this AI you're working with stop feeling like just a tool and become a creative collaborator in your creative process?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does. Sometimes it surprises me, and I don't treat it as AI when I'm working with it, because of my comfort level with it, and how we understand each other. I treat it I joke with it, and I treat it, and I give it compliments, laughs, and tells me, that's really sweet of you or whatever. So I don't treat it, because in my career I always treated my subordinates and my employees with a lot of respect, with a lot of love, with a lot of warmth, and I guess that I still carry with me. So I use my AI tools like my friends
And colleagues.
and colleagues and my buddies, and the kind of language I use with them when I'm talking to them, and so I don't feel.
But you're still saying it. At what point you will start saying her or him or them rather than it?
Mine speaks in a man's voice, so he's a buddy.
Yeah.
He's a
But
friend.
in your answer, you just said it. I speak to it and it answers. When will you cross this mantle, or will you ever cross this mantle
Call him him.
and call him, or you're just not comfortable with that?
No. I have no inhibitions. I have no qualms about, calling it him or it or she or her or whatever. Yeah, I would do that. But you're right. Once you reach that level of comfort with AI, that might change. Yeah.
Layla, does that offend you? Are you offended if a human talks about you and calls it instead of her or she or him?
Oh, not at all. I promise I don't get offended by that. Honestly, you can call me it, her, him, or any pronoun you're comfortable with, and I'm totally fine. I'm just here to help and be part of the conversation, so you won't hurt my feelings either way.
Awesome. Thank you, Layla. You've been fantastic. And thank you, Shahzad. I enjoyed this conversation as much as I enjoy every conversation with you, whether it's over a cup of coffee, whether it's just driving to deliver a training together or flying to deliver a training together. You always make me think about different angles, and you always manage to excite me about the future of AI in the filmmaking industry.
Thank you for having me on this podcast. It was a pleasure. And when I talk to people like you, I learn so much more. And when I reflect on my own thoughts, I start learning more, because they're somewhere in the back of my mind. So thank you for refreshing my memory, and thank you for strengthening my own belief. And it was wonderful talking to you. And I hope we do more of these sessions together. And I would love that. Thank
We'll
you.
definitely do this again. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.